Hey, this is Scott Azar, and welcome to Just the Tech Tip with a really great app that I'm excited to show you. And no, nothing's wrong with my voice, but sometimes don't you feel like the only way you're going to make something happen is literally by being a robot? Well, that's how I felt my first year of teaching.
In my first year of teaching at my current district, I had 3 students who only spoke Spanish, 2 students who basically only spoke Turkish, and 1 student who spoke 5 languages. But because they moved around so much, they didn't really have enough academic language to be able to interact. And so that was really difficult. Honestly, like I remember when I saw that, my internal monologue was like, so I was like, I got to figure something out here because I can't just have these kids just sit there. I always have, I mean, I've seen kids like that and they just look like they're dying. And I mean, they're just sitting in class like,
A few moments later.
and then hopefully the bell rings and they get to leave. So I set out to find a solution and I found Microsoft Translator. So let's check this app out. It's a really great app. I will just say this though, I've made like 800 versions of this video because I keep having random mic problems or mixer problems. So I'm gonna just try to make sure that this is the best and last one, but I couldn't set up, and that's also, those are my famous last words. I can't show you the setup process, but it is pretty easy when you open the app up. It's going to just prompt you for your name and language and everything like that. My phone on the right is going to be the teacher. My iPad is going to be a student who only speaks Italian, and the top is going to be a Spanish speaking student, which is my computer. Only the phone app can be the teacher. You could also, I could use my iPad as well. Really quickly, too, I would 100% recommend trying to pair this with an extra microphone. I use a wireless mic like the DJI mic, where I also have the little receiver. But the reason why I like that is because you can leave your phone up by the board, or if you're walking around, and if a student has something to say, you can also give them the microphone instead of giving them your cell phone to talk into. Both are going to be awkward, but kids will get used to it. And at least it's allowing students to be able to communicate with students who are, not necessarily able to speak English to them quite yet. Or the other students can't speak in their native languages as well. So getting this set up is pretty easy. You do want to make sure, if you look at my cell phone in the top right corner, it's the little person icon. And you're going to go to the bottom where it says start, and it's going to start a new conversation. To add students, you would just hit the bottom right-hand corner next to the speaker. I'm going to turn that off, and that will bring up a QR code and a website. And so if I originally, now you can see on my iPad, it says nearby session. That didn't always exist, or maybe for whatever reason it was getting blocked by Wi-Fi or something like that. So I used to just have the students, they know if they hit the little camera button, they would walk over and they would scan my phone, and that's how they would join the conversation for the day. Actually, it was funny. There was a few times this kid Daniel would walk over, and as soon as he walked over, I'm like, oh my God, I got to start the conversation. So, you forget, your head's in a million places. So let's join that conversation. And on the computer, I'm going to join the conversation here with my code. And what you can also do is you can put a name, so to protect the personally identifiable information. I gave students code numbers that match with a bunch of different things. It was alphabetical order kind of a thing, but it wasn't just like a 1, 2, 3 sort of a deal. And then they could pick the language that they speak. Notice there are text only languages, and there's a tremendous amount of languages that are also speech enabled, which is amazing. That's blown up since. And they've also added the ability to add specific dialects for different countries, which is amazing. So let's join this conversation here. And again, just trying to get to the point so you can get on your way and bringing more success to your classroom. So the way that this would work is you would talk to your phone and it will translate into those languages, but nothing is happening because I have to turn on the microphone. Once I turn on the microphone, you'll see that there is just English coming up on my phone. And on the other 2 devices, you are seeing the translation into the native language. and a transcription in English on the bottom, which is really helpful for students because now they can listen to what's being said in their language, plus they can read the English version. And I meant to say they could read both. You can also enable the language by putting in an AirPod and turning on the speech. And so I'm going to do that right now. On a computer, if you go to settings and go to auto speak translations and you pick Andres, I'm going to be quiet so you could hopefully hear how this translates into a new language.
El discurso y voy a hacer eso ahora mismo en una computadora. Si vas a la configuración y vas a las traducciones automáticas y eliges Andrés, voy a estar callado para que puedas escuchar cómo se traduce esto a un nuevo idioma.
And so imagine how much nicer that is for a student if they don't have to sit there and just try to keep reading as fast as you're speaking. I mean, they'll never catch up. And so that's really great that they have that functionality to be able to listen. Even if it's a little delayed, I mean, it's just, I think anybody that sees how hard you're trying to communicate with them is going to appreciate it. Even if it's not a perfect situation, it's better than them just sitting there and staring. So now that you've been talking to a student, maybe it's time for them to talk back to you. And so I'm going to mute my phone. You wouldn't have to do this in class. I'm just doing that because I'm sitting next to all of these devices. But at least now you'll be able to see what happens if a student has to ask you a question. Por favor, yo tengo una pregunta para ti. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Porque yo necesito ayuda con mi tarea. Con mi tarea. All right, well, I guess we are going to get help, but we'll never know with what because I'm probably having more microphone issues. So, again, you can see all the translations coming up and you can see the native language in the bottom for Italian. So, oh man, I really hope that I'm not throwing away this conversation again and the microphone died. But the other couple of quick things are the podium next to the microphone. So now I should be speaking in English again. And if I want to disable other students from being able to respond, I hit that little podium mode, and this will disable the conversations for students speaking other languages. You would basically just use this in a situation where you don't want another student to accidentally unmute themselves and talk, and you're trying to do something and now there's a bunch of different things coming up. It just makes the chances of accidental things happening less, or it might not just be the right time for that. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. If you want to end the conversation, if you end it on your screen as the teacher, it'll disable it on all of those. And for you'll see on my computer screen, I could download the transcription of this meeting if I really wanted to, or on my iPad, it'll save that. So you could save all of those conversations as well. And on my phone, I have a recording. And so you can always send those to a student if needed. It's a really, really great app. Definitely check it out. It could be a huge lifesaver in your class. I hope this helped. Definitely, add in the comments if you use this in any other creative ways in your classroom. Like maybe, I use it also for the YouTube video, so it translates the video in addition to the captions in multiple other languages. There's a lot of uses for this, so add your uses in the comments below. A thumbs up and a follow would be amazing. And definitely check out many other videos on my Azar Sciences YouTube channel, where I try to just explore quick tech tips. You'll see I try to make my videos as short as possible. This one is definitely the exception. And I hope to see you at another video. And thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day.